Broken things can become a blessing if you let God do the mending. Welcome to Broken to be Blessed Network, where dynamic women will share their experiences that will inspire, and experiences that have turned out to be a blessing. Now, here's your host, Samantha McNeil.
Welcome again to Broken to be Blessed Network. If you have not yet share, and subscribe, please do so, as you don't want to miss all the fun and the excitement that is happening. We are grateful and we are still in season 2. And today I have with me two ladies. Sandie Heron, she's an author, and Andorine Hamilton. She's a travel entrepreneur. And today we're going to be looking at journey into the unknown. As we all know, that the fear of the unknown is something that stops us a lot of times from getting to our best self or achieving what is our full potential. And it is said, be brave enough to travel to unknown path and then learn what you are capable of. Profound. So, Sandie, welcome. Andorine, welcome. I'm going to start with Sandie. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Sandie. How are you today?
Hi, Samantha. I am doing fine. I'm relaxing here in Tokyo. I'm inside, so I'm not dealing with the cold outside today. So I am doing fine. I'm just relaxed and I'm happy to be on the program with you today and looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you. Oh, it's cold. It's normally cold in Japan.
Well, yeah, we're in fall now, so we're creeping up to winter. So the season is changing once again.
Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, Andorine, go ahead and tell us a little about yourself. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing amazing. I'm so thrilled to be on this panelist with you, Samantha. Thank you so much for inviting me. I am just happy to be here and to share my story with everyone. Thanks
Okay.
again for having me.
Thank you. I'm really happy and thrilled to have both of you today here with me. Okay, so we're looking at journey into the unknown. And Sandie, I'm going to let you share your journey with us.
Okay, so my journey. Hi, everyone. My name is Sandie Heron, and this topic touches close to home because Journey into the Unknown is the title of my first book. I am from Jamaica and I am now living and working in Japan, and I have been in Japan for close to 3 years. So yes, I enjoy traveling. I enjoy meeting new people, trying new food, and I also enjoy writing. Yes.
Okay. And Doreen?
Sure. My name is Andorine Hamilton. I'm originally from St. Elizabeth, living in Montego Bay now for the past 20 years, which has become my home. I am a wife, a mother of two beautiful kids, and I work at 9 to 5 with my part-time job working as a travel entrepreneur for the past 2 years.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are ready for the stories and the journey. So, Sandie, I'm going to let you dive into your journey with us.
Okay, so my journey. All right, so I am from Jamaica and Jamaica is my home. So at first I started living, I was living in Portmore at the time. I grew up in the inner city in Jamaica. And then at around 16, I left to live with a friend from high school. What was I like as a child? I was full of imagination. I enjoyed writing, was a little introverted, and um, and more than anything else, I wanted to be a success. I grew up and I saw a lot of poverty around me in the inner city community where my mother and father lived, and that bothered me. As far back as I can remember, I just recall wanting my life to be better, wanting to be different, being scared of getting pregnant at a young age, and, not wanting to experience poverty in my adult life like I saw when I was growing up. So I went to university. I went to the University of the West Indies. I did my first degree. And then after I finished my first degree, I got a job working at a real estate company in Kingston. And I was around a lot of business people. It was very inspiring to be around everybody who was so driven. And I started working in the capacity of a paralegal. I got trained and everything. And I was on that path. When I was about 25 years old, I went to church. I wanted to change my life. I was tired of doing things on my own. So I got to a place in my life where I was like, you know what, God, I want to give you a try. I struggled with depression and anxiety a lot. I would be happy, and then a time would just come when I would just feel very low. And I said to myself that I was tired of the parties, tired of having sex outside of marriage, just tired of doing all of those low things. So I said, you know what, I'm going to give my life to God. And so I started going to church. And it was when I started going to church that I started hearing about purpose. And it was the first message that I remember really moved me, because even though I was so driven from childhood, I had never really thought about the fact that there was purpose on my life and that I am here on this earth for a reason. So that was a big thing for me. When I started going to church, I started praying and I said, you know, God, what is the purpose that you have for my life? What is it that you want me to do? And I remember, like, he just started responding through dreams, through messages that I heard at church, that what he wanted me to focus on was communications. And by communications, writing. He said, Sandie, write, don't stop writing, and also doing videos. I was always interested in media. And as I said before, I always enjoyed writing, but I thought that was just a hobby. It was something that I would do in my spare time. But I did not see how these interests that I had, that I thought were just my hobbies, could translate into a career, and it could be something that I could earn from. So I started going to church and hearing about purpose and all of these things. And so I enrolled at a media institute in Kingston, and I did video production training. I did voice and speech training. I did training in editing. And I told myself that I was going to develop what it is that God was leading me to do. At the same time, I think this was the start of the real dilemma in my journey, in that I was working at the law firm. I was on that path every day, dealing with files, dealing with legal things, which looked very profitable. It looked very attractive. But then on the other side, there was something else, something so much deeper that was calling me, that was saying, hey, Sandie, even though you're doing this on your 9 to 5 on your job, okay, you're doing that, you're making the money there, but that is not where I want you. That is not where you're meant to be. And Samantha, I struggled with that for so many years. I enjoyed what I was doing at work. And every now and then somebody would say to me, Sandie, why don't you go study law? Why don't you go to law school? You're so organized, you're so good at this. And my employer at the time, a very fantastic gentleman, said the same thing to me. He was encouraging me to pursue this direction. But inside, I felt very uneasy. So later in my journey, I actually went ahead and applied to do a law degree at the University of the West Indies, and I was accepted. And why did I apply? I applied because I wanted to advance in my career. I had been working at that time for about 5 years as a paralegal, and I had hit the ceiling. It felt as if there was nothing more for me in my professional capacity. And so I did not want to look like a failure in front of my colleagues, because I had been in this one position for so many years and I had not taken any steps to advance myself. And after a while, all the excuses that I had about, I'm not interested in this, this is not my passion, after a while, it just did not hold a lot of weight. And I felt foolish. I felt foolish for coming up with all of these excuses. And so I went ahead and I applied to do the law degree. I remember the first day that I went to school, and I was walking on the grounds of the university, but I cannot express to you how much I felt as if I was being disobedient. I felt it so deeply that I was in a place that I was not meant to be, even though on the outside everything looked good. And I would do things like I would ask people their opinion. What do you think about law? And I would share with them the dilemma that I was feeling, just hoping that somebody would say something to me to sort of confirm what I already knew in my spirit was not the right thing for me to do. And so I started going to school. But then at the same time, what was so heavy in my spirit, I was so fearful of walking outside of the will of God. Sometimes you know that you're doing something wrong and you want to pray to God about it, but you cannot even pray. You cannot even pray when He has already impressed upon your spirit that this is not for you. And so I couldn't pray about it, and I was so afraid of just walking outside of His will for my life, and everything just shattering. And so I had to get to that place. I got to that place where I said to myself, I am going to withdraw from this program. After I had already enrolled, already paid money and everything, I said, I'm going to withdraw from this program. And then I thought about that, and then there was a dilemma there, because at the time I was struggling with pleasing people. I wondered how people would view me. That was a big issue. It was a monster that I had to tackle, to overcome. How would people look at me? What would they say? What would be the conversation concerning this decision that I had taken? And I got to this real place of surrender where I was just like, God, no matter what happens, I am going to be obedient to you. It's the first time in my life that I remember just having that complete resolve that God, no matter what I lose, I am going to be obedient. And so I just started doing a lot of things that some logical people would look and say, this is madness. I withdrew from school and I turned in my resignation. I had a meeting with my employer and I told him that, I think my time at the firm has come to an end. And I told him that I was going to move on and I was going to apply to do what it is that I am passionate about, which at the time I thought was media. And I have a house in Jamaica, and at the time I was paying mortgage for the house. I had a car, and I also was responsible for taking care of a younger sibling who was in high school. And so it's not a case where I had a bag of money in the bank and I could just make these decisions and it would just be easy. It was very hard for me. I don't know what it is in me at that time where I just got to that place where I was like, if I lose the house, I lose the house. And if I have to sell the car to take care of my debts, then I'm going to sell the car. And I just said, whatever it is, it was a complete place of surrender. And I resigned. When I got to that place where I just resigned and I said, Lord, I'm trusting you to lead me. Tell me what to do. I was praying. I'm like, Lord, tell me what to do. Give me direction. And then, Samantha, I kid you not, one night I had a dream and I saw myself in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw myself in Japan. I saw myself sitting. In one dream, there was an Asian lady beside me, and this man came up with a bunch of flowers. And in another scene, there were kids playing all around me. There was this lady who came up to me in the street and spoke to me, gave me her telephone number and email addresses. And when I woke up from that dream, I did not consider the dream to be anything prophetic. I just got up and I was like, last night I had a dream that I was in Japan. But I remember there was just this joy in my spirit. I felt happy. And and I remember when I was going to work that morning, I had a little pep in my step. I felt so excited. There was just this sense of anticipation that was in my spirit. So much so that I shared the dream on Facebook. when I shared the dream on Facebook, someone commented, a friend, and he said, the Lord always has unique ways of speaking to you. And at that point, it is as if a light bulb went off in my head. And I asked myself the question, oh my God, could this really be God? And so at that time, Japan just dropped even further into my spirit. And I remembered a girl from university who I did my first degree with. She had posted pictures online of being in Japan. And so I just sent her a message. I said, how did you get there? And she told me that she had applied to teach. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I left it alone. 2 weeks later, she sent me the link for a company that was hiring. And I applied and I went through the application process. And a couple months later, I was accepted. And then a couple months later, I moved to Japan. I got a tenant to rent the house. I sold the car, and the funds from the car, I used it to finance my journey into the unknown. And I moved to Japan. And now here we are, what, almost 3 years later. It's a long story.
Wow, wow, wow. Quite interesting. And I look here at a quote and it says, you won't understand some things until they happen to you. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. Oh my God. So it just happened like that. That dream just unfold and just manifests.
Yeah.
Just like that. Profound and interesting. Okay, Andorine, we're gonna have you sharing your journey with us at this time.
Yes. As I said earlier, I'm originally from St. Elizabeth. My come from humble beginnings. My father is a farmer. My mother is a waitress. Used to be a waitress slash housekeeper in the hotel industry. And so, at the age of 18, once I finished high school, I got the opportunity to come to Montego Bay to start schooling in the hospitality, to finish up my career in hospitality. Um, and so I took a chance there, and I stepped out and I said, you know what, Mom, I'm going to Montego Bay. I'm going to start my career because it's an opportunity. I'm already in the industry. You are in the industry, so why not give it a chance? So I came here. She helped me through. A couple of years, and then I started to grow and move around and get along with other persons. Then I started to do part-time jobs. Here and there, and then until I get myself um, a firm job that I say I could take care of myself now. I had a job for over 7 years, which was really good. It allowed me to travel and all of that stuff, so I got some exposure there, which was really good. But after leaving that job, I left that job not knowing what I wanted to do because I got tired of doing it. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna be continuing my studies because I didn't get all the CXCs I wanted. So I said I am going to continue my studies, and then I go searching for another job on faith. I found another job at a call center, which I worked there for almost a decade. But only to find out that, while on vacation in Orlando, Florida, I got this call from my coworker saying that, Andorine, they are moving our department to another island. I was like, what? Yes, they moved it just like that. And I was like so shocked. I wasn't prepared. That was my only source of income. It was in August, we're planning our back to school, shopping and all of that in the States and all that stuff. We went to Disney, so a lot of money is being spent up right there as well, and then my wedding was in 3 months. So I was like, oh my God, what is all of this coming down on me? But I prayed about it and I talked to God and I say, I need to find something else outside of a 9 to 5 that I can do from the comfort of my home, or something that I can do with a 9 to 5, because having one source of income wasn't cutting it. I can't live my life like this, knowing that, anything can happen. The place can close down, place can go bankruptcy, and the bills have to be paid just the same. And A few years after that, I kept looking online. I found nothing solid, nothing here and there, something here and there, but nothing really solid until I saw a group of ladies on Facebook talking about this opportunity that they're working from home and earning. I was like, whoa, that sounds interesting. So I reached out to one of the ladies and we spoke for a long time. And I said, you know what? I'm already in the travel industry. Um, I would love to work at home and earn some money, right? So I took the opportunity. I stepped out on faith again and I said, Lord, take me through this because I needed something apart from my 9 to 5. And things are not easy. Things are getting harder and harder every day. So if I can earn another source of income where I can, build up my saving a bit more and to do more for my kids, I mean, that's a bonus for me. That's a huge bonus for me. So I stepped out on faith. I started the business. I mean, 2 years now in the business. It hasn't been easy. I have my ups and down days. I mean, but we have uh, we have a great community of business partners that we are working with that is helping me and guiding me through this process as well. So, I mean, even though through this pandemic, it has been rough. We've taken a huge hit, but we ain't stopping. There ain't no stopping because once you have that passion, once you have that drive that is done, it's more than, just going for the money. It's more than that. You want to help people. You want to see your family, be in a better position than you when you were growing up. So you're gonna push. I am continuing going to be pushing forward with my business, even though I mean we're going through a tough phase right now. And even this evening, I was saying to myself, you know what? When 9/11 happened, I mean the planes didn't stop. You know, American Airlines didn't close down. Why should my business stop? Why should I stop my business? We have to go on. We have to push forward because guess what? I mean, our kids, they're watching us. Other persons out there are watching us. So we have to be an example and show that we are resilient despite what we're going through. So I just want to encourage and to tell you that you may be going through a rough patch right now in your life somewhere along the way, as we all do. Stay focused. Um, just continue to remember your why and why you got started. Why you got started in the first place. What are your goals? Keep them close to you, and you will prevail and you will be successful in the end. I mean, I'm not where am I want to be right now, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And for that reason, I will definitely continue to push forward until I succeed at the level I am foreseeing myself to be.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. And it points me to this quote. It said, I had to hit rock bottom to find my way up. Don't be ashamed of your fall. Just focus on how you pick yourself up. Wow. And Andorine just share with that with us how she picked herself up and roll again. So we can see that and understand that. Okay. Sandy, I heard you mentioned that you were this person who you really consider what persons have to say. And when you made those drastic decision, um, you know that persons were gonna say that, oh, it seems like she's going off her head. No. So how did you deal with this? How did you face those people? Was there a breaking point for you after you left the job? Was there a phase where you felt like, oh, did I really make the right choice, or was I really cuckoo, or something was happening with me? Let us know how you deal with that.
Okay. The hardest part of of a really difficult decision is just before you make it. And sometimes like what we imagine in our minds, that sometimes that's not how it is, and sometimes that is not how it will turn out to be. And sometimes our minds, just the thoughts that go on in our head, sometimes that can just be our greatest enemy. Just the things that we keep rotating over and over and over in our heads. Oh my gosh, they're gonna say this, and what if they say this and that? Sometimes that's the hardest part. So the struggle for me at that time was all those thoughts that was going on in my head, and even to the point of imagining the conversations, imagining what my employer would be saying, imagining what my co-worker would be saying. So even before anybody had a chance to even make a comment, in my head I was already living out all of these fears. And sometimes that's the hardest part, just to conquer what is going on in your head and to deal with your own thoughts. I think the breaking point for me, well, you might consider it to be breaking, the breaking point, but it's actually the most powerful point for me was when I just said to myself that regardless of what anyone has to say, it is okay. When I got to that point where I did not care what anyone had to say about me, that was my place of true power. And I got there. I was just like, I accepted, and I was like, whatever is said, I am okay. And then I was able to choose and move on.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we when it comes on to making decision, we just have to reach that place where it's just what I want and what I say and what I'm gonna do, and in fact block out what everybody else has to say and what everybody else has to think. Okay, Andorine, I that phase there that you mentioned is a very powerful one. And even right now, persons might be facing that. And as we have mentioned earlier, that the fear of the unknown, it gets to us at times, and also rejection and feeling like doors have been shut on us, and it's happening over and over. That phase where you mentioned that you were in a happy moment, you were in a phase, and then right at that happy moment, just a call to say you have no job. And tell us, what was that like, and how did you bounce from that emotionally and psychologically?
Yes, that was really wow. That was a call, that was a shocker, really. But after really sitting down and thinking about, I mean, with this happening just so sudden, I was like, oh my God, this, I know I have to do something. Something has to change. I cannot be put in this position again to depend on somebody to really put food on my table and not knowing where, and a meal will be coming from for the next day or so. So, I said I have to position myself so I can be in a better place at on my own terms, really, because it wasn't a great feeling. It was really a pitfall for me because I wasn't prepared. I was shocked. I mean, having so many things going on at the same time as well, I was really unprepared. I mean, so no, I'm thankfully no, I'm in a better place. I mean, it was a few weeks ago I did a post on Facebook that I'm looking for something that I can do from the comfort of my home. I was like, whoa, God, you really come through for me. You really answered my prayer, and I thank you for answering my prayer. Even forgetting about it and saying, really, whoa, I'm passionate about travel. I love to travel, and I'm an adventurous person, and I love to see persons having fun and making those amazing memories, creating memories for their family to come. Because those memories are a lifetime, a jewel. They're gems, and that just gets me, so warm. That warm, cozy feeling of having those families to create those memories. Plus I have business partners who are now looking up to me and wanting me to show them the way, because this opportunity has a legacy attached to it. I mean, it's not just about travel, it's more than travel. So helping another family so that they can have that legacy attached to their family name. It's um, a huge, what I say, no, um, task, but it's one that is filled with gratitude and appreciation to see them accomplish their dreams and their goals.
Awesome, awesome. And you would have just answered the question that I was going to move to. No, in terms of telling us where how the fruit of the moving into the unknown and seeing the benefit and the fruit and the joy. So Andorine has gone ahead and shared that. So I'm going to allow Sandie to tell us now that she has journeyed into the unknown. What is it like? How has it been? How do you really know that this was in fact for me and where I needed to be at this time?
Okay. That's a very good question. I think the first thing that I had when I made the journey into the unknown was peace. There was nothing in me that was wrestling against itself. So my indication of whether or not I am doing something right and something that is within the will of God is if I have peace. Usually, when I'm doing something and it's not what He wants me to do, in my heart, I might want to do it, but in my mind, I'll have other thoughts. Or in my mind, I am okay with it, but in my spirit, I'm wrestling. So whenever I realize that I'm not aligned 100%, there's no harmony within me, then for me personally, that is an indication that I need to check what I'm doing. And so what I had when I moved to Japan was just peace. I was going into the unknown. I had no idea what would develop. I had no idea where I was going, but my heart and my spirit was just at rest. It's now almost 3 years, and has everything been perfect? Absolutely not. Even though there's still things that I struggle with, even up to this week, there have been so many challenges on the journey. And what I have learned more than anything else is that just because we go on the path that God leads us on, it does not mean that we will not have challenges. A lot of time people think that, oh, if I seek God, and if I start this business, or if I go into this relationship, or if I have this friendship that He has given to me as His gift, then we think that, okay, because it's from God, it's going to be good. It's good, but it's going to be perfect.
Perfect,
There will
yes.
be no challenges, and it is not so. And that has been my experience. You're still going to fight. You're still going to cry. You're still going to struggle. There will be times when you will question, what have I done? Sometimes you will go through some serious challenges and you will ask God if He's setting out to destroy you. Like, you know,
Yes, so
God,
true.
really, you're coming to mash up my life, you know? Um, but the peace, and just not only the peace, but His grace. And what I have experienced on this journey is just the grace of God, the grace of meeting the right people at the right time, the grace of having experiences that I never thought of, or even imagined, far above everything that I have imagined. And then, in addition to that, in my second year, only this year, He led me to write a book. He said, He brought it into my spirit. He said, Sandie, write a book. And then when I inquired, I'm like, Lord, what should I write about? What the very thing that I was to write about was my journey from Jamaica to Japan, and everything that I had to go through while I was making that transition. And when I think about it, I'm like, had I stayed in Jamaica, had I stayed in my home, had I stayed in my job, had I stayed with that person that I loved among my friends and everybody, I would not have had this story. There would have been nothing for me to tell. There would be no experience, because I would not have taken this journey into the unknown. And now there are so many persons who have read the story from all over the world. Japanese people, Black people, white people, from all over. And they're like, Sandie, I have read this story and I have been inspired. And had I not made the shift, then those things would not have developed. So yeah.
Wow, wow, profound. Oh my God. And I'm going to let you expound on that a little bit more because it's just so touching. But I want to ask though, from paralegal to wanting to go into media, and no, all of that just shelved and then go into what now? Teaching?
Yes, I'm teaching now. I am teaching
Interesting.
yes, at a high school in Tokyo.
Interesting. I tell you, the journey. And as I said that part there, because I'm gonna have you giving us a little hope, and I think that's just where it's gonna be built. Where journeying into the unknown. A lot of times, as you mentioned, that as individuals really feel that because it's for me, I'm not gonna face any challenge, and also knowing that, as you mentioned, having that peace um, that you feel when you know that this is for me. And when you mention that if it if you had not journeyed into the unknown, you would not have been able to write and to share your journey with other people. So go ahead and give us a little hope on that, and just to share a little bit more on your book. And then we're going to do the wrapping up where you just, both of you just encourage other persons who are going through that situation at that time. So go ahead and give us some hope on that, and tell us about your book.
Okay, so about the book, there's something interesting that you said just now, Samantha. When you spoke about the different titles, you said first I was a paralegal, then I was interested in media, and now I'm teaching. With purpose, we always think that God's purpose for us looks like a particular thing, and that it has a title, or in a specific season it has to look a particular way. And what I have learned on my journey, I don't finish the journey yet, but what I have learned is just that purpose takes different forms in different seasons. And if you were, for example, like Andorine, if you were working as a call center, you were working a call center before, and you might think that your purpose is wrapped up in that. But then God can, in another season, transition you into something else. And in another season, she might find herself not even doing this business anymore, the travel business. She might be transitioning into something else. God could lead her to another country. And so purpose, it takes different forms in different season. And one thing I have realized is just that it is okay. It is okay for things to change. It is okay for things not to turn out as how we planned it. And that is something that I struggled with. That is something that I struggle with even now. I have to rein myself in because I am here in Japan and I do not know what else is in store for me. And so that's the thing with trusting God. We just never know if we're walking on this spiritual journey. We never know what will be next. We can have our plans, but if we're really seeking after the will of God, we can never really tell. We can never tell what is going to come next month. We can never really tell what is going to come next year because we're not in the driver's seat per se. We have to be listening for his instructions. And as we get those instructions, to be obedient to where he leads us. So that just came in my spirit to share. And so, as I said before, the book Journey into the Unknown, it's really about my experience moving from Jamaica to living in Japan, and more so everything that I endured while I made that decision to move. Everything about going to school, withdrawing from my job, the different ways in which God spoke to me through dreams, through visions, through just like signs, um, just paying attention to some little hints, prophetic messages, how I was able to tune into the voice of God and to to hear him and to follow his instructions. So That is what it is about. And my hope when I wrote this book is that it will encourage other persons who have those difficult decisions to make, persons who are looking to move into their own journey, into the unknown, and they just don't know how to do it. Or they might think that they are the only person who is going through what they're going through. So yes, so Samantha, do I read now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I am reading from chapter 9, page 64, and it says, we must be able to accept when one season in our lives is over. Otherwise, we risk becoming stagnant. We would do ourselves and the world a great disservice when there is much that we were created for and placed on earth to accomplish. There are other places for us to see and more people to impact, and we cannot get there if we remain where we are. It is for this reason that our spirits call each of us to take our individual journeys into the unknown. And I'll read another bit. It says, fear and worry are barriers that can prevent us from moving forward, but we must overcome them. When I started the journey, I could not foresee how things would have worked themselves out. I was being asked to climb a whole staircase when I could not see beyond the first step. This is how God calls us out into the unknown. He hardly ever tells us everything that is in store or how things will develop from one day to the next. All we're asked to do is to take a step and trust Him. This part can be very challenging because it requires so much faith. Even if we are given a glimpse of what is to come through dreams or prophetic ministry, that is all it is, a glimpse. We do not get to see the full picture, and for some of us, that is for our own good. So I'll just end it there.
Wow. So where can we get this book if we want to get a copy of it?
All right, so it is available on Amazon in all territories. In Jamaica, it is available at York Pharmacy in Kingston. And a friend of mine also has copies in Jamaica. So for persons who are not able to make it to York Pharmacy or to purchase on Amazon, they can reach me on Facebook or Instagram at Sandie Heron, and just let me know that they want a copy and we can make arrangements.
Okay, we will have the information in the description when the video, after you view the video. Okay, so at this time we are gonna have both ladies leaving with us. If there's anyone out there, we know the journey of the unknown, and I tell you, this session this evening is so uplifting even for me as I sit here and be a part of this session, because even when you mentioned the part where you said that there this peace when you get to know that this is what is your purpose at this season, and in closing out what everybody else think and what everybody else feel, and everybody else might think like, oh yes, it speaks to me so much. And also the part where you said that when or season or journey may take different season, and even though God has called us to this season, it doesn't mean that we will not cry during it, and we will not have obstacles, and a lot of times it happens to the best of us. We are saying, God, really, did you say this? You gave me this dream, it was working right here, and then it just changed. What should I do? What should I say? And it's just like, so it's just so profound. And just sitting here and listening to it and hearing it from you ladies, that yes, even though this is it, and this is now your season, this is now your journey, doesn't mean that it's always going to go a particular way. So yes, I know that even during this time, there are a lot of persons right now who might feel like they're losing hope. A lot of persons have lost their job. A lot of persons have to may take a path to something else, may started a business. And right as you started the business, here comes the pandemic and everything just And like you really, in truth and in fact, you really can't see that, oh my God, what am I going to do? Is this really what God has planned for me? And all of this. So I know that there are persons out there who are in need of hope and encouragement. So before we wrap up, I'm just going to have you leave an encouragement for persons who are right now in this time, in that phase where they want to journey to the unknown and they just don't know how to, or all the cloudiness that is surrounds it. So go ahead, Sandie, and then we have Andorine.
Okay. It might not only be your job. There might be someone who is listening who is really struggling with their emotions, or struggling just with their mind, in their mind, with different thoughts. If you're listening and you feel as if you have come to the end of your road, or like this is you can't see the future, you can't see that light at the end of the, don't give up. Don't give up. The journey into the unknown is the next minute. The journey into the unknown is a couple hours from now. The journey into the unknown is tomorrow, next week, next year. We're always moving into the unknown. And as it says, it is unknown because we just don't know. And what I would want to tell you, as much as I have to believe, because this is very personal for me, is that we have to believe that God has our best interest at heart. That has been my anchor. If I lose that, then everything shatters, because there are so many challenges and they come left, right, and center. But it's to believe, no matter what situation you're in, no matter where you are in the world, that God, no matter the challenges, that God has your best interest at heart, that he loves you, that you can trust him, and that at the right time, he will give you the directions that you need, and he will send the right people always. He's always on time. So that is the hope that I would just want to imprint into somebody's spirit. Sometimes we know, but we just need somebody to come and remind us. Just as how people come and they remind me that God loves you and that he has your best interest at heart. And he's the best person to give you the directions that you need as it relates to your next step.
Thank you very much, Sandie, for that encouragement. Okay, Andorine, give us your encouragement.
Yes, journey into the unknown. Don't be afraid to evolve, because time is not stopping, the world is not stopping. Whatever your passion is, go for it. It was placed within your heart for a reason, for a time such as this. So go for it. I mean, it was placed on you, for you to do something, because you have a part, you have a role to play. That's why you are here, and that's why you were given that passion. Just reminiscing again. I mean, I worked at a call center for almost a decade, booking travel for persons all over the world, not knowing that one day I'll be a travel business owner. So don't be afraid to evolve. You never know what God has in store for you. You never know what he's lining up for you to do. So get out of your comfort zone. As Steve Harvey would say, you have to take that jump, take that leap of faith, because you never know what it's going to be beyond that place you're in at the moment. So don't give up on yourself. Write down your whys, write down what you want to accomplish, write down your goals, and set them at a pace that you can go at. You don't need to do it from 0 to 100. Do it from 1, 2, 3, and take your time and move up as you go along the process. Because I mean, if you don't take that step, who will? You know, that passion was given to you for a reason, for such a time as this, and it was meant to be. That's why you have that passion and that dream and that drive. So stop talking yourself out of it. People want to see you win. We want to see you win because you have purpose and you have greatness within you.
Wow, profound. Thank you so much, Andorine, for that encouragement. I'm encouraged myself. Thank you very much. And it is said, a little step may be the beginning of a great journey. You never know. You never know. You never know. The best journey, answer the question that in the beginning you didn't even think to ask. Yes. Journey into the unknown. You never know. All it takes is that open mindset and the first step. Thank you very much, Sandie and Andorine, for sharing with us this evening and for helping us to understand how you both journeyed into the unknown, for sharing hope with us, helping us to see, because you know, there are a lot of times when we know the things as we've mentioned, but when we can sit and we can hear that this person, you see her on social media or you see her there and you see her there, you can go and say, okay, Sandie had journeyed into the unknown. She said that it wasn't easy. It is not easy, but you can see that yes, it is what God has for her, and it has been working. And Andorine said that, oh, this was my situation, and now you can see, okay, she's taking a step and she's going forward. So thank you very much again, ladies, for being here and for sharing. I'm grateful, and I wish you well on your journey and all the best that life has to offer. Thank you very much again. Thank you again, listeners, for tuning in. And if you have not yet liked, share, and subscribe, please remember to do so. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye-bye.